Hello, hello, hello. Do a mic check 1, 2. Sorry, if you're just joining, just skip ahead to probably about a minute or two. I am waiting for people to join. Hello. Just started, so give it about a minute or two. We'll figure out what the heck is going on. Hello, one person. Sorry, just trying to set up everything. Giving about a minute or two. Just want to get everybody in, see what we're going to talk about tonight. Um, had a couple of ideas, but I just want to bounce them off you guys first before I start up and really get into it. So, just if you can, bear with me for a second. Oh man! All right, about 30 more seconds, then we'll just start up into it and see where tonight takes us. Welcome. Thank you for the thumbs up. Even though I haven't really said much yet, I will take it. All right, so we're gonna start up. Hello, welcome to the Church of Fuck You. This is St. Patrick. Tonight I had a couple things I want to talk about. First, I want to say I was going to do Rumble, but apparently you have to pay to live stream on Rumble, which is garbage. So I'm still trying to figure that platform out. So I do apologize. Um, I will try to get on there as soon as possible. I do have a couple videos that I want to do. A couple of them were actually taken down from YouTube for certain reasons. They just never really specified. So I will try to put those up as fast as possible. Put them on Rumble. Hopefully, you guys can just go check it out. Let me know what you think. I'll try to get that platform up and running because I don't know how long I'm gonna be on YouTube because I seem to be saying certain things that just instantly just get me, strikes. And I'm on my second strike. I'm pretty sure about to be taken down. Um, so we'll just do it that way. And if you don't ever see me again, or if you find this channel gone, then just check me out on Rumble. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get that one started, really, really soon. Start putting more videos on there as fast as possible. Just unfortunately, my fast is slow as hell, as I'm sure you guys are aware or used to by now. If you guys can hear me, because I see my little microphone going up and down, just simply deep welcome. Um, All right, so let's get it started. So tonight I want to do one or two things. One, I wanted to see, how you guys want to do it. That's why I labeled this as untitled. Thank you. Um, Either we're gonna do what's the difference between Biden and Trump, or the real reasons that people hate Trump, or we could talk about the whole Ukraine thing. What's up, Isaac? Um, However you want to do it, just let me know. Truthfully, I had a couple of different ideas in my head. I didn't know which one I wanted to actually go with. So I'm leaving it up to you guys. So first come, first serve. Like I said, we could do the whole, difference between Biden and Trump. Um, Also had a thing where it kind of dawned on me why people really, really, really hated Trump. And it's not what you think it is. It's not because he was all right, let's go. Difference between Biden and Trump. Okay, so the difference, there's a couple of differences that happen, or there's a couple of differences that stand out. But just start it off and kick it off with a bang. The real reason that people hated Donald Trump was not because he was an asshole, and not because he was an ogre, and not because he said awful things. The real reason they hated him was because he didn't know how to play the political game. And the political game is simple. You make promises, you make, declarations, you say all the things you're going to do, and then when you get into office, you do none of it. You don't fix problems in Washington. You don't fix problems. You don't resolve anything. You don't do anything. Why? Um, I'll be on. I'm gonna start doing all my funny stuff. Sorry, side note. Isaac, I'm gonna actually start doing all my funny stuff and I guess my good stuff on Rumble, just because I've been like had videos taken down. I've had shit struck from YouTube. Like I said, I'm on my second strike because of all the COVID shit that I did before, and other videos that I did, like the one that I probably my favorite video ever was all women are crazy. Obviously that was a joke video. It was a pun video. It was meant to be funny, but it was taken down because they said it was hate speech, which I don't even know how that constitutes hate speech, because I'm pretty sure if I got on here and said all men are assholes or all white people are evil, that would be fine. But if you talk about women, apparently they, are sensitive, and, they just took my video down. So that's where, truthfully, if I'm really honest with y'all, that's where I started to lose all my, not really my love for this, but my desire to really push and do this, is because YouTube just started striking everything that I thought to me was good and I thought was funny and I thought, just made y'all laugh and we had all had a good time, and they start taking it down because somebody got upset or pissed off or somebody got angry or whatever the case may be. So it kind of just killed that desire to jump on YouTube and do stuff, which is now that I have this new platform, hopefully I'll get the energy back and the will back to start posting stuff like I normally do. So that's my goal. But back to the sorry, back to the topic. um in politics, if you notice, the reason is that the reason that they can keep going, and the reason that people are in office for 50 years, and I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats, the reason that everyone is in office and everybody does the same shit over and over again is because nobody solves anything. Nobody does anything. Nobody wants to finish anything. Um, the whole abortion debate could have been over in 2 weeks. All they have to do is go in Congress and pass a law. You can have an abortion up to a certain point. What's your point? I don't know. If it's 2 weeks, if it's, um, if it was, yeah, I know this it sucks. But if it's 2 weeks, if it's 2 months, if it's 6 months, if it's 5 months, whatever, Congress can go in and pass a law, and the whole abortion issue could be squashed right away. It wouldn't matter who's on the Supreme Court because you don't have to overturn Roe versus Wade because it'll be the law of the land. Problem solved. But they don't want to do that. They can't do that. They literally can't fix anything because in politics, the game is to keep problems alive so you can keep having issues to run on so you can keep winning. That's the whole game. And unfortunately, Trump didn't know how to play that game. And he wasn't a part of that. So when he got in office, yeah, everybody hated him because he was Republican, yada, yada. They really hated him because he started doing shit, and that's where they like he has to go. Um, One of the big things that he did was, if you remember, everybody promised to put the embassy of the USA in Jerusalem, as to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and everybody promised it, from Bush to Reagan to the other Bush to Clinton to Obama. Everybody promised it. Nobody did it. What was the first, like, one of the first things he did was he went in and was like, okay, let's just go, let's just do it, what are we playing around for? And he did it, and they lost their mind. You can't do that. What about the relations? And this part of the world is going to be in chaos, and it's like the part of the world's always in fucking chaos. But that's how he was. He wasn't about the game. And that's the problem. It's like if you get somebody in office and they're not about the game, they're not about just the lip service, and they're actually about doing shit, it makes everyone else look bad. And it's not even just, again, not just Democrats, Republicans. The Republicans are doing the same shit. All of them ran on, when before he got in office, all of them ran on, we're going to undo Obamacare. We're going to get rid of Obamacare. We're going to repeal Obamacare. All of these Republicans won all these seats in the House and the Senate because they were going to do all the shit that Obama did. And as soon as he got in office and they was fighting, we're going to repeal Obamacare. We're going to repeal Obamacare. And then Trump got in office, all right, let's repeal Obamacare. We got the votes. We got the power. Let's do it. They were like, no, we can't do that. Why the fuck not? I mean, like, seriously, why not? Because they needed that platform to go back to their people or their constituents and just say, hey, we're going to do this. We almost did it last time, but now we're really going to do it. And if you vote me in for another 4 years, or if you vote me in for another 2 years, we'll really do it this time. And that's the game. So the first major difference between Trump and Biden is that Biden knows how to play the game. If anyone heard his State of the Union speech, it was just a campaign speech. That's all it was. All the things that he's going to do that everyone knows he's not going to do shit. He's not going to do half the stuff that he said. He's not even going to try to do the stuff. He probably don't even know half the stuff because he was just reading off a teleprompter or whatever paper he was reading from. Like, he's not going to do any of that. But that's the game that's played in Washington. And Trump didn't play that game. When they brought a problem to him, Trump was like, okay, let's fucking fix it. Now, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, whether you thought his fixing was correct or wasn't, besides the point. The point was he didn't play the game of Washington. He didn't play the game of the Republicans and the Democrats. He just decided, you know what, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to just do it. They were talking about prison reform for when Bush was in office. When Obama was in office for 8 years, all they kept talking about was prison reform. We need prison reform. We need prison reform. Hillary Clinton ran on prison reform. Does anybody have any question in their mind that prison reform would have got done under Clinton? Hell to the no, it wouldn't have. Not on your life. But Trump gets into the office and he's like, okay, well, prison reform, well, fuck it, let's do it. And they pushed through the bill, and guess what? We had prison reform. Now, it was the First Step Act, and obviously he didn't follow through with everything. If he had more time, maybe he would have. Who knows? But he went in there, was like, in 4 years, he did what was being promised for 16. And that's the point. That's the point that I think a lot of people miss when it comes to Trump. Yes, he was an asshole, which is my personal reasons why I liked him, because he was an asshole. He didn't play the political game. He didn't go through all the political hoopla and all the other bullshit that all of them go through. Um, he actually just went and crazy talk. He thought he had to do a job when he got into office, and he decided to do the job. And I know that's weird. I know we're not used to that shit with our politicians. We're not used to any of that. Thank you, sir. We're not used to any of that with our politicians. But that's what he did. And when it comes to Biden, he's part of the political machine. He's been in this shit for 50 years. He knows how to play the game. He know how to. Nothing is his fault. And again, Trump did the same shit, but nothing is Biden's fault. Nothing gets done. Oh well, sorry. Oh well, I guess oh, well, fuck it. I guess it's the Republicans' fault. Now it's Putin's fault. Now it's everybody else's fault. First, it was the unvaccinated fault. While he couldn't defeat the virus like he said he was going to do, because it was all these unvaccinated people killing everybody. And it's everybody's fault but his. But that's the political game. That's the political game that has been played for years. That's a political game that will continue to be played for decades. And when people like Trump come along, and again, it's not even fucking Trump. It's just his attitude, his mindset. His mindset was completely different. His mindset wasn't about let me get on the political game and let me get on the government dole and let me live the rest of my life collecting paychecks from the government. His game was let me get in here, do my job, get the fuck out. That's unheard of in government. It has been unheard of in government. Like, he literally forked over his salary. He did not take 1 cent from the government. He donated his salary as being president every year or every 3 months, whenever he got paid. Every 3 months, he donated his salary. What government they're giving themselves raises. Even in recessions, they'll give themselves a raise because, as AOC said, whether it's a gas station attendant or someone in the government, everyone has to, everyone needs a cost of living raise. Like, okay, but he was giving his paycheck away. They don't do that in the government because they're not there to actually help people. They're there to help themselves. Think about it. Like, a majority of the people who get in the government come out better off because they'll be in the government for X amount of years, and then they'll go work on some board at some pharmaceutical company or some gas company or some whatever, some pack or whatever, and they're getting millions of dollars, and then they write a book, and then they have speaking fees, and they come in broke and they leave out rich. Trump was the first politician I've ever heard of in my life that came in and was worse off being in government. Like, all the money that I'm sure he lost because everyone again deemed him racist and deemed him Hitler and all this other crazy shit. He's worse off. Like, the first striking, the biggest, one of the biggest striking differences between Biden and Trump is that Trump didn't need this shit. Like, he didn't need the government to succeed. He didn't need the government to live. He didn't need to be president to validate his life. His life was already fucking validated. He was already a billionaire. And he decided to do this shit to help other people. Now, whether you believe him or not, whatever. But again, he didn't take a salary. He didn't do any of that. He just was like, you know what? I'm here. Let's do the job. So, um, again, you can hate him. I know a lot of people hate him, and that's fine. Um, but I think that's one of the big things that I've always respected him for is that, again, he didn't need to do this shit. Like, Obama came in and when his speech was, we just paid off our student loans. Now he's a millionaire with houses all over all over the world. Like, Trump already had that shit before he got in, so he didn't need the government to validate or to improve his life. Being in the president actually fucked his life up because everybody hated him for being him. All right, let's keep going. Um, Obviously, we can go through all the lines. The gas prices, the inflation, all the crazy shit that's been going on. It's just, I mean, I can go through all the details if you would like, but the contrast between the last president and this president is night and day. Inflation was horrible. I mean, inflation is horrible now. Gas prices are horrible now. The world is in fucking war after Trump with 4 years of peace. Um, no new wars started, pulling back on the wars that we were already in. I mean, he had it he had it rolling. And again, this I don't want to try to make this into a Trump love fest. Um, but I think honestly, a lot of times it sounds that way because given our current situation, it's just like, dude, what the fuck did we come from? What did we go to? Like, how in the world did we get here? Like, I don't know. I always ask people, and I find it funny now that random people that I never even suspected or thought of. I thought everybody hated Trump, and I'll make a joke about the current administration or like, fuck, we just need Trump back. I mean, goodness gracious. And like, so many people now are starting to agree. Like, so many people are like, yes, please. I mean, I hated him. I couldn't stand his tweets. He was, that orange fucker. He just got on my nerves. But I can't take this. And it's just like, it's so weird. It's so funny how like now people aren't afraid to say, hell yeah, I voted for Trump because Biden is that bad. Like, it is unbelievable how bad this shit is getting. And the problem is, it's like we still have about 3 more years of this. Now, mind you, the last year, say the last well, yeah, say the last year, probably, up until October, November, everything's probably he probably start chilling out because hey, he's got an election, he's going to try to win. Um, but we still got 3 more years of this, and like I hope it gets better just for the sake of I don't feel like paying $12 for gas. Which, if you remember, I told you fuckers were going to happen, which is why I traded in my car and got another car. I told you the gas prices was going to get jacked up. I told you the economy was going to get screwed up. But I don't want to, keep saying how saintly I am because it is what it is. You guys already know. Um, but it's just weird. Like I didn't have a crystal ball or anything, but I just knew the shit was going to happen from all the shit that he was saying he was going to do. And me, who I pay attention to politics, but I really don't pay attention to politics. If I knew this shit, I don't know how everybody else missed it, or all the people who wanted to vote for him missed it. Like, it's weird to me, but whatever. Um, we have 3 more years. We have 3 more years. Hopefully, we get through it unscathed. Hopefully, we get through it. It gets a little better, just so we can. I mean, fuck, survive. I mean, I know a lot of people. They got the stimulus money and all the other good stuff, and their bank account was looking nice until they got to go to the grocery store. And then it's like $300 just for 2 bags of food, and you like, well, goddamn, what the hell? What's going on with this? Um, you go to the gas station, you go anywhere, and it's just everything is just it's taxing, it's taxing. And again, which I think is so funny, when Trump got into office, everyone was scared to death he was going to start World War III, and I mean, he didn't do it, but the person who's coming after him is he's just sitting back idly while the shit just kicks off. It's just like, dude, what are we doing here? um Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is for this. there's keep trying to push the Green New Deal. They keep trying to push. If you heard it, I'm sure you guys have heard the comedians and everything talking about um, they'll pay $15 for gas because they drive a Tesla. That was think that was Colbert. They just they're saying that if you buy energy, if you buy electric cars, this wouldn't be a problem. Gas prices wouldn't be a problem. And it's just like, okay, well, what do you think electricity comes from? There's no natural electricity unless you're catching lightning. So electricity has to come from plants, and the plants are powered by 99 times out of 100 fossil fuels. So fossil fuel. So even if you decide everybody buy an electric car, we're still going to need more fossil fuel because we're going to need more electricity. What's up, Henry? So like the logic is so dumb. It's just like, again, like we talked about last week. It's just the virtual signaling for just the. It's more of a show. It's just like we're sick of the show, and a lot of people are sick of the show. A lot of people are frustrated and angry and just irritated because everything is just getting bad. Now we talk about Ukraine, we're talking about gas, we're talking about inflation. We're not even talking about the fucking crime and how shit is just getting 100 times worse, especially in black neighborhoods. The black neighborhoods that Democrats supposed to care so much about. We're not even talking about the border where apparently people are just walking over like it's just a fucking picnic. They just walk on through and like we don't even know who they are, where they're going. They just come in like it's a fucking open door. So like again, it's just how do you fuck up everything? And I don't understand it. How do you get in office and you just fuck up everything? And not only do you fuck up everything, you walk around smug like you're doing just a fantastic job. How is that? How? Like, what level of cocaine are you smoking? What fucking drug are you taking to not only fuck up everything, but to be cocky about it? And to have an attitude if someone questions you, and have to have an attitude if someone dares challenges your narrative of a story. I don't understand it. Like, again, whatever drugs this whole entire government is on, this whole entire administration is on, they need to share that shit because that's some good shit. That is some really good shit that they are just hoarding for themselves, and that is selfish. Um. All right. So sorry. um. Another thing, which I think a reason why they hated Trump, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I just didn't know how to word it, but I think I do now. If you recall, when Trump got into office, one of the things he did, one of the things he was pledging was he was going to cut taxes. And what he did was he cut taxes, and then everything started to work perfectly, relatively perfectly. Minimum wage start going up for a lot of these companies, and I personally think that he did a backdoor deal. Look, I will cut your taxes for, say, instead of it being a 30%, I'll cut it down to 20%, but you got to give raises to people. You got to pass at least a little bit of that on to your employees. And I think a lot of these companies like, all right, cool, we can do that. We'll get our millions, we'll kick out a couple millions to our employees, and then we're good. So he cut taxes back about 10%. Companies that automatically start making their minimum wage $15 an hour, $14 an hour. Minimum wages start going up. And then the first time in the history of my lifetime, and I'm 41 years old, the bottom half or the bottom wages, the bottom wages of the people, I'm sorry, the wages of the people at the bottom rose faster than the people at the top, which means the people at the bottom start earning more money faster than the people at the top. So the 1% wasn't getting their normal increase regardless of who was in office. Because under Clinton they went up, under Bush they went up, under Obama they went up. The wealth gap kept dividing further and further and further under all those presidents. Under Trump, the wealth gap shrunk. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone does. The I would say the elites do not want that shit. And my night's going good, Simply Deep. How's yours? They don't want that shit because there has to be, and this is where I think, um, we need to. But I think this is where I think the truth actually came out and the truth of what was really going on. As long as there are people that are poor, as long as there are people that cannot make it on their own, they will need the government. As long as there is a need for the government can get and obtain and continue to increase their power. Because why? You're not going to bite the hand that feeds you. If case in point, if I pay for your house, I pay for your car, I pay for your kids' food. If I want to come over and just, take your sofa out your house, the fuck you going to say to me? I'm paying for everything. If I come over and just want, I'm gonna take your kid and we're gonna go shopping, or I'm gonna take your kid and we're gonna do this, what you gonna say to me? I'm paying for everything, and that's the way the government is. So the more and more people start getting off government, remember, food stamps went to an all-time low, welfare recipients went to an all-time low, the poverty level was shrinking, and that I think scared the shit out of the elite, and it scared the shit out of the establishment. And I ain't gonna say there's a deep state or deep swamp, whatever. I just think the rank and file government, again, both Republicans and Democrats, they cannot have independent people, because independent people don't need the government, and independent people won't put up with stupid shit from the government. Now, think about it. If the government issues a mandate, which they did, about you have to get the vaccine in order to do this, you have to get the vaccine in order to do that. If all of these people are stuck on the government, and okay, well, either you get the vaccine or you're off of welfare. Well, shit, what you gonna do? You get the vaccine. Hey, what's up, Gross? You get the vaccine, or you can't work, you can't get food stamps, you can't go to here, you can't go to there, you can't go to restaurants, you can't do anything, because why? You are stuck on the government. The government pays for everything that you have. What the fuck you going to do? You're going to do what the government says do. But if you have your own money, your own shit, you run your own business or whatever the case may be, if you were isolated from that, the government said, well, you need a mandate. Fuck you and your mandate. I can do what I want. I'm self-sufficient. I can sustain myself. I don't need you. And with Trump, that was happening at I'm gonna say a record label, because that's all it was, huge. But it was happening at a level that they couldn't tolerate. They don't again, the biggest thing is, you have to remember, these people want to retain power. And again, I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats. They want to retain power. It's a reason why Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all of them been in there for 90 goddamn years. For what? They haven't solved shit. But they keep getting reelected. Why do they keep getting reelected? Because we keep having the issues. We have to have the issues. As long as we have the issues, I can keep getting reelected, because I can make all these promises that I would never fucking keep. And what? I mean, again, minorities push under the welfare, the single mothers push under the welfare, everybody's pushing under the welfare, so they're not going to rock the boat. They're not going to rock the boat. They're not going to upset the apple cart, because shit, I depend on the apple cart in order to, feed my kids and to pay for my house. And, now government gives you cell phones and they give you all this other shit. So literally your whole life is dictated by the government. So you can't rock the boat. But again, Trump was making people independent. Women started owning businesses in record numbers, which means what? They don't have to depend on a man. They don't have to depend on anybody. They're self-sufficient. They can sustain themselves. So they don't need the government. They don't need a welfare. I can open my own business. I can, support my family. I can do the things that I need to do on my own. The government can't have that shit. And again, this is not a Republican Democrat thing. It's both of them. They can't have that shit. So when he gets in there, he lowers the tax. I mean, he lowers taxes, and people start getting all the bonuses was being handed out left and right, and people salary was going up naturally. Now the government issued, $15 an hour minimum wage and all this other bullshit. No, it started happening naturally. The market actually said, okay, fine, we have extra money, we kick extra money to you, and everybody said, well, that doesn't mean anything. And Nancy Pelosi was like, well, that's just peanuts. Yeah, it's peanuts to her because she's worth 30 million, 50 million, whatever $1,000,000. But if you go from, 30,000 to 32,000, that's a huge jump for you. And that extra $2,000 a year can actually help you, put extra food on the table, or help pay off a bill, or help do things like that. Shit made a huge difference to a lot of people. So what do we have to do? We have to get rid of it. Because again, we can't have people independent. We can't have people self-sufficient. We have to have people, teetered and locked in and dependent on the government. So that means whatever the government does, you can't say shit because you're dependent on the government. It's like an abusive relationship. The husband pays the bills. The husband pays the child care. The husband pays your car note. The husband pays the rent. The husband pays everything. So if he comes home and just punches you in the mouth, either you what you got to do, either you got to leave, but no, because he had you locked in the house for 10 years. You haven't worked. You don't even have a resume. You can't even spell resume. You don't know. You can't do anything on your own. So you have one or two choices: either stand there and get beaten and punched, or go out in the street and suffer and die. So what do? You just stand there and get beaten and punched. And that's what the government wanted us to do. Just we got to stand there. But then a new man came along, was like, "Hey, maybe you got to be like that. I'll get you your own stuff. You get your own car. You get your own job. You can pay for your own stuff. We'll just get out your way. You do you. We'll help you do you, and we'll get out your way." And your man was like, "No, we can't have that. No, no, no. What? You mean you can, just go and buy your own stuff and you don't have to depend on me? You don't have to ask me for permission. You don't have to ask me for anything. You got your own house, you got your own car, you got your own business, you got your own whatever. No, we can't have that. So you have got to go. That dude has got to go. And that's what happened. So yes, another big difference between Biden and Trump is that Trump wasn't about bringing power to the government. He wasn't about expanding government. He didn't want to all these other, different, like he was trying to scale back the size of the government. He was trying to scale back all these departments and all these unelected bureaucrats and all these, unelected people who gets in there and just write all these regulations and write all these rules to dictate our life. No, he was trying to scale that back. He was trying to eliminate some departments. My God, the Department of Education has been failing our kids for since they were invented. But don't say get rid of the Department of Education because you don't care about the kids. Like, are you serious? Like, I don't. I just. Sorry, but I mean, okay. That is to me is one of the huge differences, the huge things when it comes to Trump. Okay, all right. Let me go back to that. Sorry, I just read your thing, group. The trucker move was crying about the vax. It wasn't about that they were crying about the vaccine. The 90, I think it was like 90% of the truckers were already vaccinated. So they weren't doing it for them. It's just the fact that somebody somewhere has to stand up and limit the power of the government. Case in point, and I will go to the grave with this one. Ask yourself this: if Trump made this mandate, fuck Trump. If any Republican made this mandate, do you think it would have got the backing it got from mainstream media, from Democrats, from everyone who was backing the mandate? And I could tell you that answer right off the bat. Hell no. Especially if Trump did it. If Trump mandated anything, they would call him a dictator. They would say he's Hitler. They would say he's, trying to be like China or trying to be like Putin. They would try to destroy, I mean, they try to destroy him anyway, but they would, no one would back the mandate if it was a Republican, especially if it was Trump. So it wasn't about, I mean, it wasn't necessarily about the vaccine. It was about the fact that the government power has to have some limitations. The government has to have some kind of checks and balances. And the fact that the government can just say either you get this jab or you can't go to a restaurant, you can't go to work, you can't even come into our country. Like the truckers drive by themselves 99% of the time. They're by themselves. Yeah, they'll pull up, they'll unload, they get back in their truck to go on about their business. But Canada had a law or passed a resolution or whatever they call it, that truck drivers have to be vaccinated in order to come into their country. I'm sorry, what? Like, there should be a limit on what government can and can't do. And the funny thing about Canada is Canada just showed a blueprint of everything that this country wants to do if they had the power to do it. And and I'm not trying to sound crazy, so please don't take it as that. And they would do that if our population didn't have guns out the wazoo. And I'm just being honest with you. There's a reason why our government has limitations, and it's because our citizens, we buy guns. We will shoot anything. it was so funny. I read this article one time about there's a reason that we have hunting season, because if we didn't, everything in the forest will be dead within a week. Like, we kill anything, we shoot everything. I promise you, if the government tried to go overboard the way Canada government did and start sitting in police and all this other crazy shit, it would not have gone the way it gone in Canada, because we kill each other for stupid shit anyway. I mean, if we had a reason, if we had a cause, if we had, we're fighting the power, we're fighting the man. Oh my gosh, it'll just be anarchy. So yeah. Um. Oh, sorry. Back to the topic. So yeah, I think another big thing as far as when it comes to the difference between Biden and Trump is that Trump didn't care what people thought. They absolutely just did not care what people thought. Um, he didn't. He went along with his life. He did his job. He did everything. Um, but I think I mean, obviously, he wanted people to like him. He wanted people to respect him, but he wanted to do what he felt was right. All Biden cares about is what the crazy people on his side think, which is why a lot of his policies just doesn't make sense. All right, so we have oil here. We can drill oil here. We can get oil here, but we won't do that because we want to save the planet. But at the same time, we're going to go to places like Saudi Arabia and Venezuela to get their oil, because apparently they live on a different planet and they will export that oil here from the planet that they're on. What? So it's like, again, it's not about, it's just he cares too much about the radical just nut jobs on his side, and the quote unquote, saving the planet, Green New Deal, all that bullshit. It's just uh, I don't know. It's just he doesn't. To be flat out honest, I don't think Biden has a single solitary, isolated thought that he thought of in his head that he can express in any functional way at all. Another difference between Biden and Trump is, I think, if Trump had Kamala Harris as president, he would have fired her ass a long time ago. She is the most useless chick on the face of this earth. I try to listen to her speak sometimes, and literally, I need a translator because I have no idea what she's talking about. And she just says words to say words, and she talks in circles. I mean, and she will stand up there and talk for 5 minutes and say absolutely nothing. It is the most amazing skill ever. I mean, we'll say absolutely, positively nothing. All right. Well, January 6th is, don't even get me started on January 6th, 'cause I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I haven't even talked about January 6th, because apparently they kick people off YouTube if you don't go along with the authorized, approved statement of January 6th. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. But January 6th was an absolute joke. Absolute joke. And matter of fact, that might be one of the videos I do on Rumble to try to explain everything as far as the stuff that I've heard and the videos I've seen of January 6th, which is really weird. But again, I won't go there on YouTube because, again, I know they're going to kick me off. And I want to get my third strike just yet. I'm trying to, make sure everybody can move over to Rumble before I, hopefully either get booted off or disbanded from this stupid thing. But yeah, please research January 6th. Like, please research it, because I don't think it's everything that they said it was. And that's as far as I can go with that one. And please do keep in mind, I'm not trying to shy away from it. Again, they just have been. It's just so funny how they've been banning people left and right for not saying the approved statements on certain subjects, which I find completely funny and completely hilarious, where we have to tiptoe around stuff like this. Now, mind you, and I don't use Twitter, but I believe, ISIS is still on Twitter, and the Taliban is still on Twitter. But you better not say anything about, wrong about certain diseases and where they came from, or certain events that happen that they deem to be, the worst event on the face of this earth. If you speak any ill of that, then you just are, you're kicked off immediately because we can't have that. We can't have misinformation, which I always found funny because I remember at one point in time where Trump was getting like destroyed for saying fake news. He would say fake news and they would say, "Oh my gosh, he's undermining the media. And that's horrible. And how dare he say that? I can't believe he would say anything like that. That is, it's in the Constitution. The media has a right to report, and blah, 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 blah." You know, but, I guess if he said misinformation and, took people down and, banded people and, made sure that people didn't have a job afterwards because they dare to say anything that he deemed misinformation, that would have been okay because he used misinformation and not fake news or fake media or whatever the case may be. All right, so it's 11:42 here. I don't know where you guys are at. I'm on the East Coast and I am exhausted. I've been up since like 6 something this morning because I had to work today. So I'm gonna try to cut this one short. But I do want to say this. Um, I'm going to start, and I put the description of, or I put the link to my Rumble account in the last video. I'll try to put it again on this video. I'm going to start trying moving my stuff to Rumble. I tried to, like I said, I tried to go live stream tonight on Rumble, but unfortunately, it just wasn't working because you got to pay something, and so I got to figure that out. But I'll just start posting videos on Rumble. I want to, like I said, do a couple of ones because, like I said, a couple of my COVID videos, which I didn't even think I did anything bad or wrong. I thought I was towing the line perfectly. Apparently, I didn't tow it good enough. So my tiptoeing skills need some work on that. But I will try to start posting videos on Rumble. If y'all could just, I'll put the link in there so you can kind of find it. And I don't know how to work. I don't know if you subscribe or what happens or Rumble because I haven't had time to actually go through the whole thing and play it out. So I will start doing that. Posting more videos. I'll still try to come back on YouTube just to keep you, let you guys know if I'm posting anything new. Matter of fact, I might post a couple of videos on Rumble this week, just, start to get my catalog up and running on there. It will be things on there that I can't say on here. So if you want to hear some more of my crazy, stupid shit, definitely check it out. Uh, and like I said, I'll be a little bit more free on there because then I could talk about certain things like, Mr. Groves mentioned. Um, but like I said, I'm gonna cut this short just because I am so tired, and I did promise y'all I was gonna get on tonight, so I try to keep my word and keep my promise. But if anybody has anything to say, please feel free to say it now. I always like to talk to you guys before I actually bounce and get off. Um, but if not, I will go ahead and just call this one a night. I mean, it's 42 minutes, so you gotta get a little bit of church in. But I am just dog tired. So I do apologize, and I should have started this a little bit earlier, but life, kids was listening to music. What can I do? So if that's it, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. This is St. Patrick. I'm out.